This presentation is going to cover the structure of an argument. The first thing up is the claim, or the thesis, or position, or argument. The claim represents the answers to the question, what are you trying to prove? Although claims are the conclusions of your thinking, they appear as thesis statements in the introduction of an essay and are then referenced throughout the essay. In a sense, you are spoiling the ending of the movie up front in that you tell readers the larger point of your text at the end of the introduction. Then the essay provides the evidence and explanation of what led you to that conclusion or ending. In your own academic writing for this course, the thesis statement should always appear toward the end of your introduction. Basically, to make your life easier, make it the last sentence of your introduction. The thesis should include the topic and the arguable points being made about the topic. Examples of good thesis statements, for example, are Transformers: The Last Knight is a terrible film. The CGI Lion King remake is missing the soul of the original film. I mean, whoever thought of putting Donald Glover against Beyonce singing is just... Samsung Q90R is the best choice when buying a new high-end TV. Boa constrictors do not make healthy indoor pets. Achieving the American dream is more complex than commonly thought. The federal government should create a nationwide smoking ban law for public places. Each of these has a clear topic and makes an arguable point about the topic. Examples of poor thesis statements. Transformers: The Last Knight was a disappointment at the box office. Too factual. This is either case or it's not. LG is my favorite TV brand. Too factual and too personal. This is either the person's favorite brand or it isn't. I'm going to write about boa constrictors. The topic is announced, but no claim is actually made. Is achieving the American dream impossible? This is a question. It's not a statement. A claim, a thesis, a position, it should always be a statement. Transformers: The Last Knight has a bloated storyline, underdeveloped characters, and a fake-looking special effects. There's no actual argument here, just 3 negative aspects about this film, but no overall argument to tie these reasons or aspects together. We want to see an example under warrants coming up. So, evidence and data. The evidence that supports a claim may consist of statistics, statistical facts and figures, reports, written, other modes, analysis, opinion, and research by others. Examples include academic books or journal articles, as well as popular sources like newspaper, magazine, or web articles, anecdotal and personal experience, evidence based on something that has happened to the writer or writer's family or writer's friends, views of experts, so in academic or popular articles, as well as other modes of delivery like video and audio. In the case of literature, the data would consist of quotes from the text or secondary sources. Warrants, as referenced in the previous slide, are a general principle or assumption that establishes a connection between the data, which is a support, and the claim. What merits me saying this? What are my reasons? The reasons are stated in a map sentence alongside the thesis at the end of the introduction, are then developed in turn in the body of the essay. We'll see that here. We have the thesis plus map. Now you'll notice here I have an actual example written out. That's because it's easier if you can see what I'm talking about. Transformers: The Last Knight is a terrible film because of its bloated storyline, its underdeveloped characters, and its fake-looking film. Do you see the difference from that first one in the previous slide and this one? Finally, we have qualifiers, reservations, and counter-arguments. This is where you would address specific counterpoints and explain why they aren't valid, why they don't hold as much weight as your points, and why there are some weaknesses. This is also where you can address any weaknesses of your own claim. For example, maybe your proposal argument for building a new stadium could only work if the city also receives a specific federal grant and a certain number of dollars from a sponsor. Thus, your argument is only valid under specific circumstances. This would be an example of a qualifier. Every claim, if it is an arguable claim, should have a counter-argument to address. If there are no counter-arguments, the argument is a fact and not an argument, but reservations or qualifiers may not apply to every claim. All of the evidence and data leads us to the outline of a typical academic argument essay, which you see in the purplish font on the left-hand side of the screen. To use a Transformers example from slide 5, such an essay might look like the information on the right-hand side of the screen. And there you go, all finished up on this presentation.